Hello, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Today I'm hanging out with Kelly and Tom. They're going to give us a tour of their 2009 Mercedes Sprinter 170 non-extended DIY camper van conversion. So join us.
Welcome, I'm Kelly.
And I'm Tom.
And this is our super cool, home-built, amazing camper van.
Done on the street in front of our house, for the most part.
With the patience of our neighbors. We made a little noise and occasionally some dust. It was very fun to put together over the course of a year. It was fun for our neighbors to kind of watch and be a part of, and it gets a lot of use when it's gone for a month or so.
And we do find things that you have to add or improve as you use it. Sometimes you say, oh, I'm going to have to make this little change, and we've made changes along the way as well.
Yeah. It was a great project, though. Lots of fun.
So let's begin.
Come on inside. We'll take a look. We built this van because I'm a painter, and I wanted a safe, comfortable place to be able to drive all over the country and paint in plein air. I know great painters all over the country, so it's a great job. Get in my van and go. So I had an idea of what I wanted, and my husband is super handy, so we decided to build one ourselves. We looked online for, I would say, probably years trying to find one that was already finished, and they were incredibly expensive and not exactly the way I wanted them. So I'll give you the lay of the land before we dive into the full tour, but this is my living room. We have one swivel chair that expands the space. We have a couch, which also folds out into an additional bed. We have pantry and storage. We have a bathroom and shower, a nice size bed. It's a queen size bed, maybe a little bit smaller. A nice size refrigerator and freezer, and my kitchen. The floor already had a subfloor in the van, so we just put the laminate over it, the laminate wood floor, which is great, easy to clean. We have one swivel seat, which is wonderful. I require this small stool in front of it so that my feet actually reach the ground. And then this chair, we just lean forward to make it part of this couch. I have privacy curtains up here that I made that are velcroed around the top, and they stick right to this material, so they're very easy to throw up and take down and put away. They're insulated, so they also keep the heat in here too. I made this bug screen out of I bought the material. I bought the screen material, and then I sewed rope into it, and then I just tucked it into the gasket all the way around. This is the couch, which also folds out into a bed, but it is wonderfully comfortable. I fit fully and completely here, and I can work really well, and it also has this little fold-out table, so I can keep my tea or my books, whatever I have right here, my computer. It's really wonderful. I have some air here for if I need a little ventilation. See our Lawrence windows open a little bit and have screens. I have a great reading light here, which I can move all around. The bank of drawers down here are huge. This is a really large drawer. It carries all of my art books and extra supplies in there. It's very heavy duty. We've got a little game drawer here. Another full-size drawer here. This is the heating vent, so I can sit here. It keeps the whole area toasty. Throw a little blanket over myself. This is a tall cabinet. I'm a painter, as I mentioned, so I have tripods, and it also fits a yoga mat really well. The yoga mat fits right down the middle of the van as well. The upper cabinets I use as pantry and storage. And then this one usually has my camera and my rain jackets in it. The ceiling is wood with some recessed lighting and an air conditioner that also has a fan, which is great because when this fantastic fan, when it rains, it shuts automatically, but sometimes you still need some ventilation. So the fan on here works really well. We have a USB chargers over here and regular outlets, which is great. This is an old comb case where I store my glasses and my pens. This is our bathroom. It has sliding doors here. It also has a shower, a little shower. It's very, very tiny and compact and perfect. And when the door is closed and you leave the light on in here, we usually shut the other lights off, and this just sort of makes the whole space glow, and it's a really, really great night light. This is my kitchen area. This counter folds down to make space for the bed. This is the trunk that holds all of the bedding for the pull-out bed. The trunk goes in the middle to support it. This comes down. The bed, sometimes if I need to sit and work, I use this as a seat too. And I work from right here. So we built this van so that I could take it all over the country and paint, but we are currently inside a warehouse. This is the old Strand Theatre in Lambertville, New Jersey. It was built in 1915 as a movie theater, and it operated as a cinema house until it had a fire in 1969 that gutted the entire interior of the building. And it has been a storage warehouse for 50 years, used by Finkel's hardware store. We bought it, started the process over 2 years ago to get the whole project fully approved, and we closed on it a couple of months ago, and we're just starting the renovation process. But we're gonna turn it back into an art house, so we'll have a small performance space in the front and a lobby and a couple of dressing rooms. There'll also be studio rooms and then a live-work apartment in the back. So it's pretty exciting. There has not been heat in this building or plumbing for 50 years. So we keep the van in here right now because sometimes we just need to warm up, and sometimes I need a bathroom or I need to make myself a cup of tea. So it's a whole new adventure for this van. So normally the van goes all over the place, and it stays in national parks all over the country, and it stays in, you know, BLM land, and it's normally always off the grid. And but in this case, because we're in a building and I can't get any solar, we're plugged in. But this allows me to check, just, you know, check where my batteries are at and where things are at. And then there's also the Victron app, so I could use that as well. This is my kitchen, which I love. It's super small, but I eat a lot of raw foods. I eat a lot of salad. I love having this big refrigerator and the freezer, because if I know I'm going to be traveling, if I know I'm going to be on the road for a month or so, I could make a lot of the foods I like at home and freeze them, and then I always have soup in the freezer, and it's a really a nice size. Tom had to talk me into this. I thought it was too big at first, and boy, am I happy I listened to him. I wanted something very small and compact here. It's a 2-burner propane stove. The sink is plenty big enough. This goes outside, so you can rinse off, rinse off your shoes, your pets, whatever it is, but that's super convenient. The water pump has a little button here. I can turn it on or off. This is lighting up above. The charger here runs on the solar and the batteries and battery charger. The live wood edge, live edge, I think this is walnut. I think it's black walnut. So we had a couple of pieces, had to use 2 to make this countertop, and then we used this for the fold down piece. We made all of the cabinets, which was kind of a fun, interesting experience. This is the water heater is back here. It's on demand, so it just fires up when you need it. The storage here is wonderful. I never feel like I don't have enough room to be on the road for, months, really. It's really wonderful. The keys keep the drawers down when I'm turning my corners. Lots of storage. And then there's a giant cabinet here, which is where I store a lot. This is my backpack for painting. It's got all my supplies in it, my paper towels, my canvases are down there. So this is a built-in mirror, which is kind of fun. So, you can see how fabulous you look on the road, which is very important. And then that's kind of my toiletry cabinet. And then the bed is up here, which I have this little box down here so I could get up here, because otherwise I would have a very hard time getting up here. It's super cozy. My heating controls are back here. I can turn the heat on. Can you see that? I can turn the heat on with my toe in the morning just by clicking that. And then when the van warms up, then I get out from under the covers. I have my stereo up here, the speaker system, which also has an outlet so it can charge up there. Back here there is a shut-off switch, a kill switch for the propane. So if I need to shut it all off, I can do that there. There's lots of room in here to store clothes, and then there's a little cubby around the corner. I don't know if you can see that, but that has a USB chargers, a place for my water, my bear spray. I don't travel with a gun, but a bear spray works just the same. All my books, my reading light. This is for the air conditioner. This light goes, yeah. And then in the back these are great privacy curtains. They're lined, they keep all the daylight out. They're snapped into the curvature here so that they stay that way. And then if I want a little air or I want a little light, I can open these up. There are vents here, and then other curtains, which show you around that. Yeah, so this is the awesome bedroom in my van, which I super duper love, and I always feel like I am snug as a bug. There are some controls down here. This is a vent so that the heat gets into the back area too. So that we learned that the hard way. That the garage needs to be heated as well with your water pump and everything. So we've taken care of that. And then this switch takes you to, like, if you're on shore power or you want to just operate off the batteries. And then there's another switch to heat up the tanks in case you're in really cold weather and you need to keep your gray and your black tank warm. And then the bottom switch is for a fan that just pulls the air into the garage area and circulates it. And for safety, down here there's a carbon monoxide detector. And in the bed area up here there is a smoke detector, as well as one underneath. The heat runs on propane. The refrigerator runs on propane and electric. And the air conditioner runs on either shore power or the inverter. And when we get around to the back, you'll see all that in the garage. So now we'll let Tom take us to the back of the van and show us how it all works.
All right, so for the mechanical section, which is my favorite part. So I'll start with the battery storage. We have AGMs, actual glass mat batteries, for 200 amp hour batteries. So obviously 800 amp hours. They're being charged off of the Victron solar charge controller. It's the 250-60, which was basically the largest that we could get for the solar power that we have. 725 watts of solar on the roof. We then go from the charge controller. Everything is isolated by these circuit switches. We've got circuit switches to isolate every battery. Isolate that bank from this bank. We can disconnect, because every once in a while these batteries go bad. If you have a short battery, you can disconnect them. An AC panel. We've got a DC panel. We've got a front engine battery isolator switch in the red switch there. And then we've got an automatic battery isolator switch, which is the blue C switch back there. We've got the 3000 watt Victron Energy inverter. We have 40 gallons of fresh water mounted directly or centered directly over the axles. And for the axle, we actually put in an additional 1-ton spring, and we put what they're called sumo bump stops. So they're about 4 times as big as a normal bump stop, which isolates the travel on the rear axle. We put 30 gallons of propane directly underneath, so centrally located again, just for weight balancing, with a metal skid plate in case you back into a curb or something, you're not hitting the propane tank. We put a smoke detector directly in the battery compartment in case there's ever any sort of a fire. It's directly under the bed or smoke, it goes off and you are fully aware of it. Then we've got the propane isolator valve set up to where you can actually isolate and check propane for leaks. We've got a leak detector on there in case there's ever a leak. We did the polyurethane foam insulation throughout the entire chassis before starting any of the work. This is the fun, exciting part. We did put the winterizing lines in. We have hot and cold winterizing lines that you can just turn a valve, open them up, turn the water pump on, and it goes. We had talked about the inverter switch up front, which allows you to go from shore power to battery power. These lines go up to that inverter switch up front. All the electrical was grommeted and wrapped. So we used electrical wrap and grommets for every orifice, which you can kind of see whenever it goes through any sort of an opening, there's a grommet to protect all the cables.
So this is where we store the cushions for the fold-out bed that we showed you up front. They're pretty easy to get in and out there. We also have these, I made these kind of magnetized curtains that keep the, let a little bit of light in, but still offer me some privacy.
And then next we have the spare tire. The spare tire used to be mounted underneath, but when we put the propane tank, we had to relocate this. So we customized or fabricated this metal bracket, which is through bolted, and we actually have a plate on the back of the door, removing that panel so that we can have the spare tire. Standard 30 amp ship to shore power, plug in, locking fresh water. We have a 14 gallon black and gray tank directly underneath. This is our furnace exhaust, which I think we didn't actually turn it on in there, but at least you got to see how it works. We've had this thing in 10 below weather. We have the CR Lawrence windows, which are really, really nice. They open, they're screened. The windows are lower, so when you put the ceiling fan on, it draws air. I don't have the hood open, but we could open it. We did an additional battery. We put the oversized tires on after we beefed up the suspension. So we have higher suspension so we get bigger tires for more clearance. We made a specialized bracket to hold 200 amp hour batteries up front instead of the standard one. And again, each battery has a battery isolator switch where you can disconnect the batteries individually.
Thank you for taking the time today to give us a tour of your beautiful creation. Now, this was your first camper van build. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that came up as you were doing your first van conversion build?
It was our first camper van conversion, but we have built several things. My husband's super handy, and I never would have been able to do this without Tommy. So he made it all function, and I made it all look really good, and together it worked out. I think one of the biggest challenges for us was that we live in this beautiful little village of Lambertville, New Jersey, but we don't have a garage. We don't even have a driveway. So we bought this thing in Atlanta, and we drove it back up here and parked it on the street in front of the house, and then started with the windows, and then the electrical panel, and then we watched a ton of YouTube videos. I talked to several custom builders, but we really felt like we could do a lot of it ourselves. And the pieces that we needed a little bit of help with, or we thought we wanted a little bit of help with, we found Diversified Services in New Jersey, and Neil was great, so we used him for some of the more complicated things, but all the rest of it we did, and we learned a lot. We had a lot of fun doing it. I'm sure we made a few mistakes, but I love this thing, and I certainly get a lot of use out of it. It's pretty perfect. I really can't think of anything that I would do differently. The only thing that I think I wish we would have done is put bump outs in the back so the bed was just a little bit longer. Tom cannot fit back there, so if we ever travel together, which is rare, I sleep back there, and he fits on this pull-out bed if he can sleep kitty corner. It works for him, but the bump outs would have been a good thought. The first time we took it across the country, it was 10 below in places, and we were just running with a little 5-gallon propane tank, and that was clearly not enough to keep everything warm, and then we added the 30-gallon tank with Neil's help. So that was an addition. The air conditioner we didn't have right away, and then you spend a couple hot nights in a van, you're like, whoo, So if it's really a hot location, it's better to run that thing off of shore power, but it will definitely run for a couple of hours and at least take the intense heat out of here. And then you shut it off for a little bit, turn it back on, and just conserve power as you need to. For me, just being able to go to more remote locations and paint and get up early in the morning and be where you want to be on site and paint what's there it's wonderfully freeing. We also use Harvest Host, and those are small farms and breweries and wineries and places you can stay just for the night, and you have to be totally self-sufficient. So I love that because I could wind up on farms all over the country and have wake up to something beautiful and amazing to paint right there. I love having everything right in here. I like cooking my own food. To get up on a chilly morning and make myself coffee and hang out and do a little work and read it's like it's blissful. I love it. If I could get up every morning and not have anything to worry about except for like, where am I going to go paint today and what am I going to cook in my little van, it's perfect. I've always wanted to be an artist, and my parents were pretty supportive until it came time to actually go to school. And then my father used to tell me that I would live on the streets of New York in a refrigerator box if I followed this art foolishness. And I really have been, the thought of that refrigerator box has terrified me and motivated me for 25 years. And this is the answer to never having to worry about the refrigerator box. If the whole world goes to crap, and we lose everything that's normal, this thing is paid off. I own it, free and clear, and it has everything I need to survive. So we knew when we built this that I would be traveling in it alone for the most part, which I'm fairly comfortable with as long as I know the doors lock and I'm safe and I have bear spray, which I've never needed, but I sleep better knowing it's there. I think I would be lonely if I went out on my own and I knew there weren't going to be people that I was going to interact with here and there. But to have the freedom to travel like this and be alone sometimes and then go connect with friends in different parks or, beautiful locations around the country is wonderful. There are also, I think there are multiple groups of women that travel alone and want to be able to connect along the road. And it's, they're easy to find and they're easy to connect with. I think it's a wonderful adventure. I've been talking about getting an RV once the kids were in college for, I think pretty much since the day they arrived, which not to say I love my kids and I love traveling with them. Sometimes they come with me and they're a total blast. But I've been looking for a long time. I grew up with an aunt and uncle who are hardcore Airstreamers, and they took us camping from early ages, and I love it. They didn't think I was nuts. And if they do, then I guess that's kind of their problem anyway. They might be right.
Thank you for taking the time today to give us a tour of your beautiful creation. Now, I'm sure my viewers are going to love you and what you do and the building here. Can you tell us a little bit about how they could follow along on the journey?
Sure. My Instagram is at Kelly Sullivan Fine Art. The Strand Theatre is at Strand Arts NJ. And we're just starting to get that going, but as you can see, we're in the beginning stages. But you can follow my painting and my van travels at Kelly Sullivan Fine Art. I'd love you to come along.
Well, thank you very much. Well, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like this video, comment, share, and subscribe. I love it, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.